One of the things I love doing as a host of Philadelphia Eagles now is being able to chop it up with all of you. I've been a diehard Eagles fan since I was 4 years old, and we all share something in common, right? Regardless of whether or not it's in season or off season, we love talking about the Eagles. We love covering the Eagles. We love following the Birds. And we always enjoy talking strategy, talking roster moves, talking potential moves, roster battles. The city of Philadelphia is so passionate about the game of football. And what's also incredible about Eagles fans compared to other fan bases, how knowledgeable all of us are. You all know ball, just like I know ball as the host of this show. So let's take some questions here on the program going into week 2. Snorlags 333 gets us started. What are we giving up for Denzel Ward? Now, if you watch the show this week, we've been talking about these Denzel Ward trade rumors. This is a hot topic among Eagles Twitter right now. Everybody is calling for Howie Roseman to make a move for Denzel Ward because on Tuesday, the Browns restructured his contract and they reverted his base salary into a bonus pretty much. And so he's going to get that money. And we're talking about a player in Ward who is one of the top bona fide shutdown cornerbacks in the National Football League. And Chip, we kind of have a scouting report of Denzel Ward if we can pop that up with what he's been able to accomplish. I really like the player. And the Browns are a team that as we get closer to the NFL trade deadline, they could look to sell. And if they sell, they're going to have to open up cap space because of that Deshaun Watson contract. They could look to get rid of a player like Denzel Ward, who has been getting it done for a really long time. 4th overall pick in 2018. He's become a 4-time Pro Bowler out of Ohio State, 2018, 2021, 2023, 2024. He has 4.32 speed at corner, 96 passes defended in 96 games, and I think 91 starts and 17 career interceptions. Now, it is not going to come at a cheap price. I think what Philadelphia might have to give up for a player like this, a 2nd-round pick and a 3rd-round pick. I don't think it's to a point because he's a little bit older now in his late 20s where he's going to demand a 1st-round pick. The good news for the Eagles is, though, they have a bunch of draft capital if they're in contention and they feel as though they need to make a move. Now, I think what's going to happen, Adoree Jackson, who Vic Fangio said is probably going to start week 2 against Kansas City, short leash. If he doesn't work out, see if Jacorian Bennett can rise up and play well. If he doesn't, Howie Roseman approaching the deadline, he's got some leeway and flexibility here because it won't happen for another couple of months. Could make a trade for a player like Denzel Ward. Lion Fighter, otherwise known as LFX the GOAT, will Tank Bigsby get any carries, or is A.J. Dillon going to get them with the injury of Will Shipley? And so this is also a big topic among Eagles fans this week. Why did the Eagles trade for Tank Bigsby? They traded for him because Will Shipley injured his ribs in that week 1 game against the Cowboys, and the Eagles are expecting him to be out for a little while. He's RB2 behind Saquon Barkley. He's also the top kick returner for the Eagles. Tank Bigsby, he can run it. He's physical, more than 200 pounds. He packs a punch, downhill, one-cut, violent running style. Last year, he rushed for nearly 800 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's a legitimate player, former 3rd-round pick out of Auburn, and so he can help you fill the void of losing Will Shipley. He can also help fill in for being the kick returner for the Eagles, and so those are a couple of roles for him. The Eagles did trade for him on Monday night. They have a little bit of a mini bye. But because it's so late in the game prep week for Tank Bigsby, is he going to be RB2 behind Saquon? I would imagine it's A.J. Dillon behind Saquon. But it wouldn't surprise me if with more practice reps, Bigsby then becomes the backup to Saquon, and then A.J. Dillon is still RB3. But that is a developing situation that we'll see how it transpires against Kansas City and in the coming weeks until Shipley comes back. Trey Losado. Do you think the Eagles have a big advantage against the Chiefs since the Chiefs didn't look good against the Chargers, and also go Birds? You know, it's awesome. Everywhere I go, especially when I'm traveling, I always like to wear an Eagles shirt to rep the Birds. It's a great conversation starter. And whether people are from Philly or not from Philly, it generates a conversation. If you're from Philly, a lot of people will say to me, go Birds. And I just utter back, go Birds. People who aren't from Philly, they're like, you're an Eagles fan? I'm like, yeah, what are you, a Dallas Cowboys fan? You guys stink. We're the defending Super Bowl champions. But they expect us to be so mean and angry when in reality, I think a lot of Philadelphians are very authentic, nice people who will always have your back. Anywho, always going to defend my city. Do the Eagles have a big advantage against the Chiefs since the Chiefs didn't look good against the Chargers? So it was kind of a tale of two halves for Kansas City. I thought they looked really bad in the first half. And overall in that game, they did average 5.5 yards per carry. A lot of that was from Mahomes, but Isaiah Pacheco averaged about 5 yards per carry as well. But they didn't generate a lot of explosive plays. And it was a very Patrick Mahomes reliant game. 24-39, 258 yards, and then 6 carries for 57 yards and a touchdown. He just felt forced to make plays because the Chiefs, frankly, do not have a lot of talent. This is one of the lighter Chiefs teams as far as high-level talent and depth that I have seen in recent memory. But they are still so dangerous because they have Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Steve Spagnuolo, Chris Jones, and Trent McDuffie. But if you're just matching up roster versus roster, talent versus talent, depth versus depth, this Eagles team, Trey, is so much better than Kansas City. You should be able to win this game on talent alone. But obviously, it doesn't always happen like that. The Chiefs are desperate. They're at home. Tough environment. They're staring down the gun barrel of starting the year 0-2. Turnovers are going to be huge. The Chiefs are looking to get revenge on Philadelphia because they got absolutely embarrassed against the Eagles in the Super Bowl. We know that Andy Reid, with his back against the wall, is going to pull rabbits out of the hat. And he's going to pull out some of these play designs and play calls that nobody has ever seen before. Some trickery to try to catch this defense off guard. I think the Eagles win this game. I think they should win this game. I don't think it's acceptable if they do lose it. But the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and they've been the dragons that a lot of people haven't been able to slay for a reason. Andrew Nathan, Chase, so it's pretty safe to assume that Mike Hilton's workout was not as serious as we thought, seeing as the Eagles worked out other players. Could they be waiting to see Adoree Jackson in week 2? Yes. So Mike Hilton was brought in for a workout this week, and last year for the Cincinnati Bengals, he was the highest graded run defender in the NFL among corners. He is solely a slot guy because he's a little bit smaller and he's not that quick. The Eagles' backup corner situation, right now it's Mac McWilliams. If the Eagles don't like Mac McWilliams as the backup slot corner, or they like him more on the outside because they were testing him out there, they could look to make a move for Mike Hilton. But you are right. You know, at first we're thinking, oh, they're only working out Mike Hilton. They worked out a handful of players, and that included the likes of Jamin Davis, a former first-round pick by Washington out of Kentucky, the linebacker who's been a bust. It included former Eagle Quez Watkins, who only runs fast, and that's about it. And I have PTSD from missing that ball in the Super Bowl, which could have won the game for Philadelphia. But yeah, you know, it was a group of players who worked out. It wasn't just Hilton. But I think the Eagles wanted to see, okay, can he still play? He's a little bit older. Can he help us? But the Eagles are going to wait to see how Adoree Jackson looks. And if Adoree Jackson continues to struggle, Jacorian Bennett struggles as well, Eagles are going to be left with a decision to make. Do they make a move at corner? And they might have to make a move at corner. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Always love hearing from all of you in our mailbag segments. You know ball, we love talking ball, and it's always a party here on the show.